Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Reed Gray with Berkshire Hathaway and Joyner Realtors, and today I have an awesome guest for you guys. This is Danny Joyner. He is the president of and Joyner. Danny, I got a question for you. I feel like we need some intro music here.
Bring it on.
If you had a walk-up song, like what would it be?
I had some help.
By Morgan Wallen?
Yeah.
Okay. I was kind of thinking like the John Cena intro music, so word to the editor, go ahead and put that in
Reed,
here.
you know I couldn't make this mess all by myself.
Well, I'm excited for the conversation today, so thanks for joining. To you guys, I want to kind of give you an idea as to what we're going to be talking about today. Danny and his company have, had and Joyner for quite some time. How long has that been?
We're in our 60th year this year.
60th year. That's awesome.
Yep.
We're going to talk about how Greenville has changed because there's been a lot of change here and part of our growth. We're going to talk about where it's headed. We're going to kind of talk about some relocation stories. We're going to talk about things that you as someone who's interested in relocating to the upstate maybe should be aware of, or questions that you didn't think to ask. We're going to try and answer those for you here today. But nonetheless, let's kind of dive in. Danny, you're the expert. You've been here your whole life. How's Greenville changed?
Oh my gosh, it's changed in so many ways. Well, one in particular, we're on Woodruff Road right now, which those of you from this area know it's a very busy retail quarter. This was nothing but farms when I was growing up. I would turn onto Woodruff Road off of Lawrence Road, and it was two-lane road, and it dead-ended right there. There was no Verde Boulevard.
No.
And you just kept going straight out, and it was nothing but farms. And so to see the growth and the explosion that's taken place in this part of our city and county is unbelievable. But the downtown is certainly transformed. Mm-hmm. It was not a destination when I was growing up.
Right.
I mean, when I was really young, there was a sporting goods store down there named O'Neill Williams, owned by the Hines family. And I used to go buy my football equipment there, when I was a little kid.
What position did you play?
I played quarterback.
QB1?
QB1, baby.
Okay.
To see what's happened down there, and we didn't go downtown when I was young. Mm-hmm. Nobody. The main retail quarter when I was young was Wade Hampton Boulevard.
Okay.
And so that's where everything went. And then Wade Hampton kind of evolved, and then Haywood Road came in. Mm-hmm. Kind of took everything off of Wade Hampton. And then Woodruff Road evolved and took a lot of the retailers off of Haywood Road.
Took everything.
And it's just, but now all these areas that lost those retail tenants have all undergone a transformation and a comeback. But it's been interesting to watch the growth. I think our leadership has done an amazing job. I remember the catalyst for downtown was the Hyatt Regency. When they announced that, I don't know how they convinced them to come to downtown at that time because nobody wanted to be downtown, but they did. And it set off a renovation, a revitalization of that area. And our city leadership has been amazing. We've had some unbelievable mayors to take them through this transformation and really, make downtown one of the, highest rated destination places in the country. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've seen all the top 10 lists.
We're on every single one of them.
Every one of them.
And I think it's cool. So one thing that Danny's talking about is kind of downtown didn't used to be an area that you would really go to. It wasn't a destination. And now, I've mentioned previously in other videos that there's actually other cities that come and do urban studies on our downtown area.
Yep.
And one of the biggest things that they look for is the parks that we have, and that's why we're so successful and people choose to spend time there, whether it's go to restaurants or hang out in Falls Park or Cleveland Park and the Swamp Rabbit Trail. As someone who's lived here for 4 years now, that's part of every week, most times every day if it's not so daggum hot out.
No kidding.
But I want you to expand, if you would, on downtown previously. So before Falls Park and before we kind of started recording here today, you said that when you guys had the commercial office, talk to us a little bit about that.
So that was only 20, it was right around the year 2000. We moved our commercial division down to the old Harper Brothers building where Foxcroft Wines is now. Mm-hmm. And we were one of the first to go across the bridge. Mm-hmm. The Peace Center was there, but on the other side of that bridge, previous to that, you didn't go across the bridge. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was crime, it was drugs, it was prostitution. You just did not cross the river. And eventually, it just kind of took shape, took place, and now look at it now. I mean, my gosh, the west end of Greenville has just been amazing. You got, Gather, you got the ball field, you've got
the C. Dan Joyner downtown office.
little plug there.
Come see us. So kind of talking about that, because it is a question that we get a lot, and I think that people, they ask the questions, hey, talk to me about safety, talk to me about crime. Obviously, you well know that that's not necessarily a conversation that I can have due to fair housing regulations. Sure. I think if you were to look at the statistics online, they may be misleading, right? If you go downtown, would you feel safe? Would you feel safe with your family, your kids walking around down there at midnight?
Absolutely. Not a worry in the world, because I've done it.
Right. And what about Greenville as a whole? Specifically,
what do you ask them?
Just kind of, if someone has a concern where they've looked up the stats and say, oh my God, does Greenville have crime? As someone who lives here, I've never once thought about that. I've never experienced that. Is that something that you have a concern about, or what are your thoughts on the overall safety of Greenville?
No, I think Greenville is one of the safest places you can possibly be. Every place has crime.
Yeah.
Can't get around that. But I think that the city leadership and the way that they've helped transform the downtown has just encouraged good things to come down there, and good people follow good things, and I think it's just been, it's not a place I would worry one bit about,
right,
as far as crime goes.
It's kind of the type of place where if you leave your door unlocked, you're fine. So granted, that's going to depend where you are, but
right.
I could leave my house and leave it unlocked.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your role at C. Dan Joyner. Your dad started it. What is the history of the company looked like? We're at 60 years, really incredible. Elaborate on that for us.
So my role has evolved a lot since I got into the business. My dad, I remember specifically sitting down with him when I first got out of school to come and join the company, and he said, I'm going to make you learn every bit of the business, because there's it's a diverse business. It's not just residential sales and
right.
brokerage, it's commercial, it's property management, it's insurance. I mean, it's all related. And so I spent time in each area for several years. Property management, had an appraisal company, did residential sales, ran the commercial division for 17 years. So I've kind of worked my way through to try to get a handle on all aspects of the business, and that's, I think, helped me a lot.
And so you guys can see clearly that Danny is the expert. He is very well versed in everything. Not only is he a great professional, but I really enjoy working for him, and he didn't pay me to say that.
I will, though.
Really, I love working for C. Dan Joyner, and I look forward to helping you guys. That being said, if you're watching this video here today, you're probably kind of wondering about relocating to Greenville. Maybe we can answer some questions for our viewers here. Let's say you're in Minnesota, California, Iowa, you name it. If you're relocating to Greenville, South Carolina, what are a couple things that you should know, and what are a couple things you should look for?
So I think one of the most amazing things about Greenville is our people. It's just a friendly, welcoming town. I'll tell you a funny story. My mother and my wife and I went to a little Italian restaurant. It's not there anymore, but it was a good little Italian restaurant, and this waiter came over to help us. And nice looking guy, but he did not have a Greenville accent. He was obviously from the Northeast.
Yeah.
And so we started talking, and I said, well, what brought you to Greenville? He was from New Jersey. He said, well, my fiance and I we're just sick of New Jersey. And, all the traffic, the people are mean, the whole 9 yards. And so he said, we decided we were going to move south. And we chose Atlanta or Charlotte. And so he got on a plane. He said, honey, I'm going to go check it out and kind of narrow it down, and then I'll bring you back down, and we'll make sure that you're good with it too. In the plane on the way down, there was a magazine in the back of the seat, and he was reading the magazine, and it was talking about Greenville. There was an article on Greenville and how wonderful it is, and he didn't think anything of it. Flew into Atlanta, got off the plane, rented a car, and immediately thought it was like back in New Jersey. He's like, this is not going to work.
That was a quick trip.
Yeah, I don't even think he stopped. He just said, I'm heading north to Charlotte. So he got on 85, started going north, and saw this sign, downtown Greenville, left here. So he's like, that was a pretty cool article. I'll go check out their downtown. So he rode downtown and just was blown away. Blown away. Changed his airline, didn't even go to Charlotte, flew back to New Jersey, said, honey, I know where we're going to move.
Wow.
And she was like, where? And he said, Greenville, South Carolina. And she was like, Greenville, South? I'm not going to South Carolina. And he's like, no, you got to go give it a chance. And she said, all right. And so they flew down, and he was driving her in from the airport, taking her downtown. And I think they were going down McDaniel Avenue, getting ready to turn onto Broad to go into downtown. And he goes, hey, honey, watch this. And he's driving his car, and he goes, and the other car waves back at him. And she looked at him like he had three heads. She's like, what was that all about?
Yeah.
He's like, no, honey, they're just nice here. It's just nice people. And so he kept driving and did it again. And she slapped him in the chest, and I can't tell you what she said to him.
Right.
But it had something to do with, like, shut the up. And so they came down, and they love it. I mean, we hear stories about that all the time from people relocating from New Jersey, New York, Florida, Colorado, California, wherever. And it always gets back to the friendliness of the people. And my gosh, how lucky are we with all the natural resources that we have here. We've got beautiful lakes within a 30, 45-minute drive. You got the mountains that are the same distance. You've got a coast that's a little over 3 hours away. That's beautiful. It's just all the parks, all the open space. I think it's just a good vibe. You go to Greenville, you go out downtown, and you just feel good.
Yeah. So one thing that I like about what Danny just said, and part of the reason that I'm so fond of Greenville, is the size of the city. And obviously Greenville is growing, and I think that we're growing intentionally. Would you agree with that?
I totally agree.
It's a mid-sized city, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. You can walk from one end of Main Street to the other in 10 minutes. And let's say you go to downtown Charlotte or downtown Atlanta, or whichever downtown in Atlanta you choose, because there's about 5 of them, I think.
Right.
You can drive down Main Street, and it's a piece of cake. It's still a 2-lane road.
Right.
And I really enjoy that. I think it's great. Now, your story about the fella driving down McDaniel there, that's funny you mentioned that, because that's one of my first kind of thoughts of when I moved here to the upstate. So I went to Lander University. I played baseball there. And I'm up there on my official visit. I'm, this high school kid who thinks he's a big deal, and walking around the grocery store, and people were like waving and saying hello, and I was like, who the hell's that? I was like, this is a D2 school. We're not at Division I. Like, they didn't pay anybody to do this.
Nobody asking for autographs?
No, unbelievable, right? And I was like, this is the coolest thing. And then it kept happening. I was like, wait a second. I think that's just the people that are here, and kind of the culture of the upstate of South Carolina. So, there's a lot of truth to that, and I've experienced it a lot of times when somebody does move here, right? The majority of my business is helping people just like you relocate to the upstate. And within a month, once they close, hey man, you were right. Like, people here are really friendly. Southern hospitality is a real thing, and it never ceases to amaze me. It's part of what living in South Carolina, why it's so great.
So let me ask you a question. You're originally from Florida?
Yep.
I know you went to Lander. What made you settle on Greenville?
I'll try and keep that as a short story.
Sure.
We grew up going to the Isle of Palms for vacation each summer. And our summer vacation was a big deal because it was the only one that we went on each year. And so when we would go hop in the car and drive up to Charleston, I was like, man, this is awesome. And I always had this kind of fondness of South Carolina because of that. And playing high school ball, school called Lander University calls me. And I'm this knucklehead high school kid, and I'm thinking, who the hell is Lander University? Like, I'm too good for them, right? And I come up here and take my visit and fell in love with the school, fell in love with the coaches, fell in love with the program. And I went home and I was like, there's not any negative for me to say no to this school. So about a week later, I called him up and I said, hey, I'm in, let's do it. Spent 4 years there. It was awesome, really great program. Glad that I did it. And while I was there, my mom moved to Greenville. And
did she move because she wanted to come watch you play, or she just wanted to be in Greenville?
She actually moved because she just wanted something different. So she was living in Nashville at the time, and where she's originally from.
Okay.
And it just no longer felt like home to her. So believe it or not, and probably similar to what a lot of you guys did, is she just picked it on a map, didn't know anything about it,
Yep.
and packed a U-Haul and drove to Greenville. And she's been here, I think, for about 10 years now. And so after college, I was coaching college baseball for a couple years, and it was a very hard career, and one that I'm glad that I did, and one that I'm glad that I'm a realtor now. But our season ended, and COVID, and I was like, well, get me the hell out of Greenville, Tennessee, which is the wrong Greenville, South Carolina. That's where you want to be. And I moved in with her for a couple months because I didn't have any money. I was coaching. And it's interesting because when I first moved here, Mom, just like everybody else, was like, Greenville, South Carolina is awesome. Greenville's great. And the couple times that I had visited, I was like, it's okay. Like, I don't really see it. And then now I'm bought in, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the best place ever. So that's kind of my story, how I ended up here in South Carolina. My mom is actually a realtor at the same company, Joyner Realtors. And a little bit about how I got into the business is my sister's also a realtor in Nashville, Tennessee.
A very successful one.
She is. So very proud of her, proud of Mom, and just kind of thought to myself, hey, if it's not baseball, what is it? And with the two of them doing that and being successful, I thought, well, I should give this a shot. And
If they can do it, I can do it.
yeah, that's right. Anything you can do, I can do better. And it's been awesome. So I really enjoyed it, and I've certainly found the right thing for me.
That's awesome. And it certainly runs in your blood because your sister, your mom, and yourself are all just top notch.
Well,
as
thank
good
you.
as it gets.
Thank you. The last thing that I want to talk about, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts here. What are some of the things you're most excited about in Greenville in the next 5 to 10 years? I know that if you go online, and we actually did a video recently on, a couple things coming to Greenville, South Carolina. Is it kind of the expected growth? Is it a gateway project? Is it a Swamp Rabbit Trail extension? Anything in particular, or something as a whole?
I'm excited about all those things.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. I think it's going to be interesting to see that, like I said, the city leadership has done such a good job up to this point. Mm-hmm. Can they continue? And I think they can, to plan the right way. Obviously Unity Park's the latest park that we've opened. What a great vision. It was another place you didn't go to. It was run down. The residents that were living there were forgotten. They were left behind. And they've turned it into just a gem of a place to go.
It's beautiful.
Oh, it's amazing. And just want to make sure that our leadership, whether it's city, county, whatever, holds true to planning and don't just go start throwing stuff at the wall. We got to have the right infrastructure in place. We got to have, we got to repair our roads.
Sure.
That's a huge thing right now. Because I will say, that's the only thing that we need help with in Greenville, in the state, really. But if you drive from Greenville south on 85, as soon as you hit the Georgia line, you can see the difference in the roads.
You definitely can.
And if you go north to Charlotte, towards Atlanta, to North Carolina, same thing. The minute you cross the state line, it's just like the roads are completely different. So that's a huge thing we're going to have to address.
The roads is funny, and not to cut you off, I was driving home the other day, and I was like, you really know that you're from this area when you change lanes because you know that there's a pothole coming up, or like there's a root that's grown in the road and it's turned into a speed bump. And I'm just like, our roads here, they need some help.
The OCD in me kicks in just like that because I know where every pothole is, where every manhole cover is, and it's almost like I can do it blindfolded.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think that the growth in Greenville is what has made it so attractive, and obviously they've done a good job of it. As more people come to Greenville, is there a message that you would have to somebody who is going to move here to kind of say, hey, this is a place that we're proud of. This is what makes Greenville special. And we hope that when you come here, one, welcome, but two, maybe let's continue with the trend and the culture that we have here and be a value add and an addition to our community.
Yeah.
I know that if you're a resident in South Carolina in the upstate here, there are some people who are concerned about the growth.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people that don't want it, but I think it's good. Smart growth is good. Just growth is not.
Right.
The right kind of growth. But I would tell you that it's, in my opinion, the greatest place to live in the country. I've been to, I can't tell you how many major cities, usually because of a convention with the company. But I've been all over this country, and I've never been to a place where I went to their downtown or to one of their parks and just went, this is so much better than Greenville. I go to downtown Greenville and I'm like, this is better than any place I've ever been. Yeah. And I'm not exaggerating. I really feel that way. It's an amazing place, friendly people, just quality of life abounds here, and we're very fortunate.
That's awesome. Well, I have really enjoyed the conversation. Danny, thank you for taking the time to come and do this. If there are any questions that you guys might have about relocating to Greenville, South Carolina, that's what I'm here for. I would love to connect with you guys. I've also made a quiz specifically for you. If you're interested in moving to the upstate, hey, take it. It's in the description in the video here below, and let me know what you think. It's going to tell you, hey, maybe Simpsonville's the right area for you. Maybe Travelers Rest is the right area for you. So nonetheless, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and as always, we will see you next week.